It's a brand new day in the world of college football, which naturally means that there is a new quarterback entering the transfer portal. Stop me if you've heard that one before. But the difference is with a guy like Liberty's Kaidon Salter, he's got mobility, athleticism, and a proven track record that can lead your team at least to a conference title. So who should be interested in the Flames quarterback? And more importantly, what does he bring to your offense? Let's talk about it. But if you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, plus coaching searches, the transfer portal, national championship news, and a bunch of other nonsense that surrounds our favorite sport, make sure that you smash the subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on where Kaden Salter should play in 2024. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, the drunk dude passed out in a Publix parking lot, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we are on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking about our favorite sport. Give me a follow on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, conversations with college football never have to stop flowing. Okay, so Kaden Salter, second-year player out of Cedar Hill, Texas, this past season blows up. I mean, literally, you could not ask more from a quarterback at the Group of 5 level than what Kaden Salters was able to produce. Over 2,700 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, not to mention 12 rushing touchdowns, an average of 6.7 yards per run, and 1,000 rushing yards. We talk about Jaden Daniels making history this year, and well, we should, because the kid balled out and was the only reason why, in my opinion, you even saw LSU get to 10 wins. But if you're looking for a player that emulates a lot of the similar skill sets as Daniels, Kaden Salter is a good baseline. Got good arm, has a impeccable knowledge of the game, excellent footwork behind the line of scrimmage, the ability to utilize his legs in the open field, but also extend plays outside the pocket to give his receivers a better chance to get open. Quarterback play is much like wide receiver play, like any other position. If it's developed properly at the Group of 5 level, the transition to the Power 5 level is seamless. You're never going to see a player falter or fall apart. Yes, they'll have some miscues and some hiccups along the way, but even the 5 stars that we see strut their stuff at the collegiate level in their first start have some struggles. So don't hold it against Salter if, say, week 1, wherever he lands, he doesn't go for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. But this is a guy with proven experience. And whether or not you agree that the Group of 5 level versus the Power 5 level is good enough, proven experience is a hot commodity right now in the world of college football, primarily at the quarterback position. If you want to be successful and you want to turn the corner and have your team gunning for a spot in the college football playoff, you need a proven quarterback. That's his bottom line. And you look at some of these names that are on the come up, whether or not they're proven, you've at least seen them in the system for a while. So like Miller Moss at USC. If they don't go out and add in a transfer quarterback, 2 years of knowledge underneath Lincoln Riley is probably enough to where you feel comfortable. The same thing could be said about Ohio State when it comes to Devin Brown. I personally would rather go into the transfer portal. And so Salter is that quarterback where the mobility is going to be a vital asset, where the physical style of play that he's gone up against in the Conference USA level really won't dictate what happens to him at the Power 5 level. His arm strength is phenomenal. This past season, he averaged roughly 10 yards per throw. 32 touchdowns. I mean, there was only a handful of quarterbacks that were able to do that. And Liberty had the #1 rushing offense in college football this past season. And partially that was due to the running back play, but in large part, it's a lot like Jaden Daniels down at LSU. You talk about the quarterback, his mobility, his ability to manipulate defensive linemen, fight his way into the open field for massive gains. That's the kid that you're going to get at some school. So where are the best fits for him? Let's start off with the obvious one, in my opinion. It's Auburn. Auburn is the #1 option, and for good reason. When there's smoke, there's usually fire. And when a coach leaves their university to take a job elsewhere, usually you'll see a few players fizzle along in. They'll come along with the process because of you want some proven commodities. Well, Hugh Freeze didn't do that last year. He decided to go ahead and give the transfer portal eligibility to Peyton Thorne, but Salter also didn't enter the portal, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. Thorne is not the right answer. I think everybody that watched the bowl game against Maryland in the Music City Bowl realizes Auburn, they need a quarterback. They need a legit quarterback, not Robbie Ashford, not Peyton Thorne. They need a kid that has great arm strength and the utilization of his legs. And if you go back and you look at the history of Hugh Freeze, one thing that really stands out is he's not afraid to go out and add in a quarterback that either he's worked with in the past or via the portal. And I mean this because if you look back at his time when he was at Ole Miss, he went and got Bo Wallace, who was a junior college transfer quarterback. Bo Wallace really was the breadwinner and the tone setter for those phenomenal years in Oxford. So when you get that guy, and you also did with Malik Willis when he comes from Auburn to Liberty, and you see the success, there's a proof of concept there. I think that the offense caters a lot more to Salter than it does to Thorne or Ashford. I think that what you're bringing in terms of wide receivers, like a 5-star in Cam Coleman, that's going to elevate the style of play and the receiving core at your disposal. So it would be hard pressed to say that Auburn in year 2, if they're trying to make the jump from 7-5, 7-6, 8-4 to 9-3 and 10-2, and be a player in the playoff run, have a shot at beating Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and really setting the tone in a brand new version of the SEC that we're not a doormat, you go out and you add in Salter, who would have 2 years of eligibility left, and more importantly, would have 2 years to build a foundation in place similar to Bo Wallace. Next up, Ohio State. I think Ohio State's very much in the running for the Will Howard sweepstakes. It would make a ton of sense for him to go there because of he wants to be a part of a winning culture. He wants to be that piece de resistance that turns a pretender into a contender. And as much as I like Devin Brown and Lincoln Kienholz, I don't know what I'm going to get for them. And if I'm Ryan Day, I can't have the what if factor playing a role in what is going to be a crucial year in my time in Columbus. Salter has experience. Salter has the mobility. And what's the one thing I continue to talk about with you guys every single time I bring up Ohio State? Mobility at the quarterback position has been the handcuff that's held back the Buckeyes from beating Michigan. That's just the bottom line. J.J. McCarthy is able to utilize his legs, give his receivers a second opportunity to break open, maneuver outside the pocket, and get a strike downfield. You watched it in the Rose Bowl. You watched it in Ann Arbor. You watched it throughout the regular season. That's the reason why the Wolverines are playing in the national championship this weekend. Mobility at the quarterback position to give you a second opportunity. Salter does that. Salter does that. And by the way, this would be the best receiving core he has ever played with. And I know there is so much unproven commodities in Columbus right now. But if Emeka Egbuka comes back, there you go with your new number 1 or at worst number 2. Jeremiah Smith is going to come in and be a day 1 player. I don't know if he'll be a day 1 starter, but he will be a name that people will gravitate toward the second he touches down in Columbus. You know that Carnell Tate is looking for a breakout year. This is the kid that is supposed to replace Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, let's see what you got, because it's your time now. This is the moment for you to be successful, and they always are going to add in prime talent on the offensive line, the running back position. Ohio State could retain a ton of players, both offensively and defensively, to where quarterback is the only thing separating them from a college football playoff appearance, or maybe just, being along for the ride. So if you go ahead and a guy like Kaidon Salter, at least you got stability, at least you got mobility, and you got a little bit of experience. Next up, Washington State. Here's an interesting one. Washington State is going to be playing in a Mountain West schedule as part of a Pac-2. If they impress enough, and they go 10-2 or 11-1, the College Football Playoff Committee is at least going to put their name in consideration. Well, what just worked the last 2 years? A guy in Cam Ward. Ward's ability to utilize his legs, Ward's ability to extend plays deep downfield, Ward's ability to have the line of scrimmage play in his favor to where he rolls out, finds a receiver for a second opportunity. All the same skill sets that you talk about with Jaden Daniels and Cam Ward, you see in Kaden Salter. So if the Cougars are trying to be a player next year where they have to gain respect by everyone else in the world of college football, upgrade at the quarterback position. I like Jake Dickert a lot. I think he's a very solid coach who could be on the come up by 2024 or 2025. The only way to do so is by adding in a quarterback. And lastly, and certainly not least, Miami. Miami right now maybe is waiting on the results of the Will Howard sweepstakes before they go out and they add in another quarterback. But here's the good news. Because Kaden Salter played in the bowl game and the Fiesta Bowl, he will have a few extra days to determine where he wants to play. Miami, if they're trying to be a player next year, has to get a quarterback. I get it. Tyler Van Dyke was not a player that eventually worked for your system. I get it. You want to go out and you want to add in your type of players, but make no mistake. If you're going into a year where pressure is at an all-time high in Coral Gables because of Manny Diaz was fired, so Mario Cristobal could run the program the right way, and things are taking a step back rather than a step forward, This is where a quarterback will do wonders for your persona down in Coral Gables. So if I am Miami and I realize I can get a quarterback that has a great deep ball, I have a quarterback that can extend plays outside the pocket, and I have a quarterback that also is mobile enough to pick up yards after contact and find his way into the end zone, and I'm trying to get to 10-2, I'm trying to be the next Texas 2.0, got to be able to have a quarterback like Kaidon Salter. So those are the 4 schools I could see him going to. Auburn should be the favorite for a reason. Proof of concept, smoke, there's fire. You already have a relationship with the coach, but Ohio State, Washington State, and Miami all should be players in the Kaidon Salter sweepstakes. And whoever does land him, by the way, I get the alfalfa sitting up top is really annoying, but whoever does land Kaidon Salter, they're landing a quarterback that maybe, just maybe, is good enough to take you to a college football playoff. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.